Is not an alien force already among us?
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
From some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe.
Welcome to S4.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to S4, the official radio broadcast of Forest Moon Paranormal, with host Eric Cooper and our panel of enlightened minds. Coming to you live from FMP headquarters located in the heart of Skagit Valley, Washington, at the base of the majestic North Cascade Mountains. We will take you through a journey of exploration as we examine every aspect of the metaphysical. From spirits, UFOs, Bigfoot, and conspiracies, to grounding, protection, astral travel, and everything in between, leaving you with a better understanding and comprehension of the world around you, and the entities that inhabit it. Join us every Saturday night at midnight Pacific Standard Time on the Fringe FM and locally on KSVU 90.1. Remember to check out the Forest Moon Paranormal Facebook page and join in the discussion. Now sit back, open your mind, get ready, because this is S4.
Good evening or morning, depending where you are. Welcome to S4, the voice of Forest Moon Paranormal, coming to you live from the FMP headquarters in the beautiful mountains of Concrete, Washington. FMP is a highly accurate emergency response team for all aspects of the paranormal, from aggressive hauntings to alien interaction, Bigfoot and other cryptids, and everything in between that's terrifying. S4 is the voice where we discuss these things in depth. You can find S4 on the Fringe FM every Saturday at midnight, where you can also find Lighting the Void with Joe Roop, Shift Happens with Cortana, and Dark Waters. We are also on terrestrial radio with the KSVU 90.1 FM locally from 10 to 12 Saturdays with our pre-recorded shows for the locals. So, folks, tonight it's our November team show where we sit and discuss various paranormal issues we have seen throughout the month of November. Tonight with us we have R. Keith Andrews, our FMP Alien Race Specialist, Cole Wegeleitner, our FMP Lore and Culture Research Specialist and owner of Statement of Sound DJ Services, Michael Hall, our paranormal lawyer and founder of UFOI Team, and Chris Dodge, our FMP Extended Care Team Leader and Instructor. All right, so how's everyone doing tonight?
And bug-eyed. Other than that, not bad.
Yeah,
doing well.
So actually tonight we're going to be discussing a lot of paranormal protection, because I think that's an important aspect to talk about. Before we get to it though, how's everyone's Thanksgiving?
Well,
good.
Yeah. Being in Canada, long over.
You're hungover.
No. Being as I'm up in Canada, it's long over.
Yeah,
and, even when I was drinking heavily, I didn't actually get hangovers.
You guys are what, October 7th, I think, isn't it?
I don't know. You'll have to check my calendar because I don't pay
It
much.
changes every year.
Oh, okay. That's right. It's like the first or second Monday of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, first or second, or I don't know. I find what I basically do is wait for somebody to say, "Hey, by the way, it's Thanksgiving," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Well, it was funny because we went to the Canadian equivalent of Walmart. I don't remember what the name of the store was. And I see a big
Superstore.
banner.
In Canada, we call it Walmart.
Well, no, this wasn't a Walmart, but it was set up just like Walmart. I don't remember what the name of it was, though. I think it was in Surrey.
The Great Canadian Superstore?
That sounds right. But it was funny because we walked into the big doors in the front, and there's a big banner that says, "We will be open Thanksgiving." Like, oh, it's October. That's weird. Why do they have a Thanksgiving sign in October? So we did our shopping and stuff, and we went up to the checkout counter, and we asked this guy. He's got a British accent, sound like he's in London or something. And we asked him, "So, you guys here in Canada have Thanksgiving?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure what it is though." I'm like, okay. He goes, "Hey, Melissa, when's Thanksgiving here?" She goes, "I think it's coming up." I'm like, "Oh my God, seriously?" She goes, I think we're open. I think it's next Monday." I'm like, "Oh my God." Okay, so your Thanksgiving is nowhere near seen as traditional as in the States. That's for...
Oh, sure it is. As soon as they tell us it's Thanksgiving, we start looking for turkeys.
But yeah, it made our day. Like, wow, cool.
And in the last 10 years, Canada just started doing Black Friday. We haven't quite advanced to the trampling people stage yet.
Well,
But we're
that's
getting
good. So, I've got to ask before we start talking about anything, has anyone heard any good Black Friday stories yet? Any maulings or, fights or protests or anything?
Does it count when I went down to go to a store that was supposed to be open, and after 25 minutes of them not opening up when they were supposed to, with a sign listed that they had sales on and everything else, I decided they weren't open after almost half an hour. I went home.
There wasn't a line outside the door? Oh my God.
Yeah, there was. There were a few people waiting, and I'm like, I'm just not that interested in spending money here.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, they'll have $3 a pair of socks, and people are fighting to get in the door for a pair of socks because they're $3
I'm sorry, it's
instead of
$3.
$5.
I'm not buying them to start with. I don't care what color the Friday is.
It's like I think Black Friday is, they should call it the worst day of humanity.
Oh, I don't know. The witch hunts were a little bit on the blacker side than what the Friday sales are.
Well, true.
I don't know. It's pretty close, guys.
Well, in all fairness, during the witch hunts, I had a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed the witch hunt. Of course, I was not on the receiving end of the fires, but
Okay.
I watched a video where guys were fighting over KitchenAid mixers. And this guy literally hit another guy with the mixer to get him out of his way.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. Maybe I missed something in the shopping thing. I just don't find that enjoyable.
No, it reminds me of that Schwarzenegger movie. Oh God, Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. It's usually tradition, but we haven't watched it yet. I watched Krampus.
This is Michael. My brother Greg did the costumes for that show. He was Arnold Schwarzenegger's costumer for the last 15 years.
Oh, that's cool.
No way.
Yeah, he really likes Sinbad on that show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Yeah.
He's a great, well,
He was
yeah,
good.
he's a great comedian to begin with, let alone an actor.
Yeah, no, he was really good, and Arnold was awesome in that show. I really think that's one of those Christmas classics that you got to see along with Christmas with the Cranks and
Yep.
a very Murray Christmas.
Well, I may be morbid, but I actually thought Krampus had some great comedy to it, along with being a horror movie. Because I think, without spoiling the movie, but the Gingerbread Men were awesome.
Well, let me just clarify for you. You are a bit morbid.
Well, I can't be.
Oh,
But when you're in this field, you kind of have to be.
Well, this is why, when you watch when you look at some of the some of the past horrors that people have gone through. In my case, I've got an added bonus. I remember them.
Right.
So I've got a bit of a twisted outlook on what people thought was kind of the horror side of it. Some people like to think I'm congenial this lifetime, but there are lifetimes when that was not the best way to describe me.
Okay, jumping into the topic for tonight. It's anything goes on the team show anyway. We just discovered we discuss team topics and whatnot anyway, which is why I thought tonight was kind of a good night to talk extended care with that focus. Because in light of recent cases we've been doing, people need extended care. And we need to clarify some things that I see discussed, especially in the group, pertaining to the use of sage. And its purpose. Because too many people seem to have this thing that, oh my God, I've got a haunting, so I need a smudge. And that shouldn't, you can argue all you want about that will remove everything. No, it won't. We've kind of proven that with the cases we do daily, that using sage first oftentimes just ticks off whatever is there and makes it even worse and doesn't remove anything. Would you agree with that, Chris?
oh yeah. That sage is more like a maintenance. That's not the main problem solver. Yep.
Now, scientifically, it has been proven what it does. It takes the negative ions of the environment and turns them positive. So if you're dealing with just a basic spirit, it could remove the spirit, but doesn't mean the spirit won't come back. And if it's a malevolent entity, it's not going anywhere.
Could it change the ions of the spirit? So, like, if it's an angry spirit, make it happy?
No.
No, that would be called weed. That works very well.
Oh, wow. Oh. But not in spirit form. No, yeah. If they were smoking weed when they were alive, yeah, most definitely.
Sorry, that was just way too easy of a setup.
So, what the extended care team does, and sometimes what we are going to try, and we're going to try this. We're going to try changing the protocol with abduction cases specifically. With the extended care, we're going to put the extended care in first and see if the client learns to ground and shield before the team goes in and removes implants and things of that nature, if that doesn't keep the aliens from coming back.
Well, that makes sense. You did, because the reality is that you teach people how to shield to start with. If they get it right, then you don't have the problem.
Right. Well, that's kind of our thought process with it. Because, it's been shown with the abduction cases we've done that we raise their vibrations to a positive level, to a higher frequency, the aliens can't come back. Now, then you have the argument, does that mean they're demons? No, it doesn't. It just means they're aliens. But aliens, generally speaking, the lower level aliens, the Greys, the reptilians, the more negative races, can't come in when there's a higher vibration. And I think they lower the vibration so they can come in. Would that make sense, Keith?
Yeah, because now aliens are a funny thing from that standpoint, but when you're dealing with anything that is, if you will, naturally non-corporeal, it has to slow its vibration down in order to get into the physical world. It's just literally moving too quick to materialize if it doesn't.
Okay, and that makes sense.
The other thing that happens when people get the energy low, the higher your vibrational rate, it creates an interesting cross-current, an interesting wind that is quite frankly painful for a lot of them, and they just won't come near you. This is why you get the high-pitched whine around some people, and anybody that can sense auras, anybody that can hear the aura, will actually already know about that little mess.
Right. And so I'm sitting here thinking, but the last
dead.
The last two abduction cases we've worked on have come up with a negative result as far as the team goes, which is why we're gonna, instead of just going to site, we do the education aspect and have the client work on themselves. Once the vibration's raised, once they've grounded, once they've shielded, ideally the race involved can't come in once we disable the implants, which is usually the case. Once the implant's been disabled, the race comes in to find out what's going on. If we raise that vibration before we disable the implant, they can't come back in.
Pretty much the case, because you're changing the lock on the door before you remove it.
Right.
Which means the key they've got doesn't work anymore.
That's a good analogy, too. So of late, we've also been dealing with a lot of malevolent entity cases, which would be the same thing. It's okay.
You're really running odd today. You know that, eh?
Yeah.
The gears are turning.
Well, they are, and it's midnight. It's been a long day. But where did my train of thought go here?
I think it got derailed today.
It did.
Yeah,
well, that's,
yeah.
You know, would be interesting maybe for some of the new listeners would be to just describe, how in the heck you guys are able to disable the implants. It in the astral, in person, how it actually works. But I would imagine there's be some folks out there to be interested in obtaining your services in that regard.
Right. So what happens is the team actually locks on the location via Google Maps, via address, or by photo. Team goes in, and essentially when you're coming in through astral, you have a different picture. It's not like walking into someone's home. You see in color, you see in this dimension, you're actually seeing via a different dimension in the same house. And it's funny because Megan's even talked about lately, she goes to a client's house and their cat follows them around. She thought that was interesting because, you know, cats and dogs can see fourth dimension. They can actually detect the astral team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we've had, you know, Tony, our team lead, also talk about, you know, people's dogs, and the client sitting there, the client sitting there in chat talking, and oh wow, my dog's going down the hall. Well, yeah, Tony's actually going down the hall right now, so that makes sense. And you know, it's really cool when you can see through the client chat and through the team chat, you can see how everything works together, and it proves everything works together. But basically, to disable the implant, we were able to, through astral, scan the client, pick out where the implants are, and do basically a high energy frequency energy burst, which disables the implant. And at that point in time, is usually when the aliens go, what the heck's going on? The implants ain't working, let's go check it out. And then, well, that's where the astral combat comes in. But if we change our tactic and go high energy, high frequency, positive frequency, they won't be able to come check it out anyway. Now, the thing with malevolent entities, and even some spirits, is they will strike fear in the client, which lowers the vibration. Fear feeds them. It's almost like like a draw. So once they've lowered that energy of terror within the client, it's harder to get rid of for the client. Which is when we come in, we remove the malevolent entity, we pass the spirits over, and then we teach that client how to raise their vibrations, how to ground and shield. Which, used properly, is good for maintenance. So, Chris.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and go into some grounding techniques.
Into some grounding techniques. Basically, what I do is grounding is basically getting rid of the negative energy. Since everybody is made up of energy, you got to clear your own space. So I teach them how to get rid of the negative energy, and then I teach them how to pull from the earth the positive energy, and you want to use that as I call it like a second skin, and it's like relaxation, concentration, imagination, and you put like a second skin of the positive energy, and then they're instructed and taught how to constantly do the shielding and build your shields, and you want the thick shields. That's the thicker they are, the more protection you have. Just build and build and build on them. And then I also go into cleansing of the home. I work on the client first, get rid of the negative, put in the positive, and then cleansing of the home with the sage. Some people have depending on the case, if there's bigger issues and we can go into more depth. There's different ways and means of doing cleansing and different things you can use. Sage is not the only thing. Like I had one client that all of a sudden told me I can't burn sage because it bothers me. So then I had to research and ask some of the more experienced people on the team, what the heck do I do with this? And so then there's cedar that you can burn. I'm like, So it's been a learning process, but I've had very, very good results on our cases. A lot of happy clients, and I also keep it open. Come back and ask me questions. You have any questions? And they do, and it goes great. But you've got to get rid of that negative before you build on that positive.
Just an odd question for you that many people won't think about, so I'm just going to put it out there. I realize you go about clearing the person first and then the house, but the question is, do you clear the person while they are in the house or while they're outside of it?
Usually the astral team will put a shield around the premises once they get done with with the actual problem, and they will shield the house and they will raise vibrations, and then I come in and teach them, and it just depends on the client, Keith. I've had a lot of it depends on their fear level, how they are feeling. I was able to instruct one client to go outside and be closer to the earth, to be able to get rid of and pull that positive energy better. Some I instruct while they're in their house. It just depends on the reaction of the client to me.
And to add to that too, Keith, it depends on the situation. Now, once you've identified whether the client themselves is having the issue or if the issue is in the home or the business, is kind of how you determine that as well. Because if it's attached to the client, it doesn't really matter where the client is. If it's attached to the home, then it's the home you want to focus on as far as the removal goes. But it's the client you want to focus on as far as raising the energy, teaching the grounding to keep anything else from coming back. So it's really situation-based as well.
I think it's a lot of fear-based, too. Because I've had some clients that I'm not sure if they're getting the grounding going, over the phone through chat. And then I've had other ones that are like, oh, okay, I just did that. And it kind of shocked me because they were going right along with me and following me and actually doing the grounding and shielding while I was instructing. Others are like, okay, well, they get everything and they ask all the questions, but you can tell through the chat that they didn't do it right at that instant. So then there's another part of trying to explain the importance of doing this. So there's just different levels and different cases and different clients. Yeah.
And it's case by case, because some clients pick it up quick. Some clients you have to go over it and they have to practice the grounding a few times before they're successful with it. Using a case recently where it took them a few times to actually get the grounding in effect. And going to shielding real quick, because shielding and grounding go really hand in hand. Whereas grounding, you're pushing the energy out and pulling it back in. Shielding, you're actually using the same energy to create the bubble.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then it gets a little bit more complex if there's smaller children, because the adult, the client, can actually imagine and throw a shield around their child, and that makes them feel more secure. But when you're working on it, the parent has such a fear for their kids that sometimes it's hard to get them to separate that fear a little bit and concentrate on the instruction you're trying to give them. So it's a thinking thing here to do. You have to really have an open mind and figure this out. But we're doing it, and our class is going great, and we've got great students, and it'll be awesome.
So, what's some of the prerequisites you have for the extended care team?
Oh, you would have to throw that at me, wouldn't you? They have to be. Some of the expectations of them are availability is one thing. They have to be. Let's see. Should I put this in FMP terminology or just my terminology?
Both.
You have to have somebody that has a lot of sympathy, empathy. Like I've told a lot of the students, even though you don't hear the client's voice, you can tell how they are feeling just by the way they're typing, even over the computer. I have not done a in-person phone conversation with a client, and that's the only reason is because I go right in after the astral representatives are done. I mean, I could do it, but I just haven't done it. And you just have to be a specific type of person that sympathizes. You have to be able to listen, and it's just, you have to be the caring. I don't know how to explain it, Eric. There's just
You have to have
you have to be a certain, but a lot of it too.
Sad to say, it has to feel right.
Right.
Yeah.
It takes a special person to be able to have know the boundaries to listen without interjecting too much personal.
Yes, that's what I've told the class too. That you don't put in any of your opinions. You have to listen. You have to listen. You have to answer questions. You have to approach each situation very differently. You don't take the lead. The client is the lead, and that's very, very hard question for me to answer because literally it depends on each case.
Well, it depends on personality too.
And you also have to watch if the extended care is not getting to the person, and we're seeing certain signs that there may be other issues. Speaking of possibly not actually paranormal, and then again, the astral team will really help with that. They will, when they go in, they'll tell us, I mean, if there's even anything there. If there's not something there, then, it could be the extended care representative that actually pulls in the psychology side of it, or it could be the astral team. But if we pull the psychological person into that case, you also have to handle that very carefully.
Yeah,
that kind of answer the question.
And that's where our therapist comes in. We do have a therapist on the team that helps assess, and once it's kind of deemed that there needs to be a psychiatric evaluation going on, then she'll step in and ask the questions she knows she needs to ask to help identify it, and then she'll actually find resources in the client's specific area to go in for an evaluation. So she's only there to evaluate, and then help assess, and she's a great asset.
We also have the which is really, really cool, is we have a youngster on our team that has gone through experiences, and she is great to be able to talk to younger kids that are the kids of clients, or maybe even a client themselves, a child that's been affected by paranormal. So we have the youngster on our team that helps, and boy, that makes those clients feel good to have somebody their own age to talk to.
Yeah, she's our peer support.
So our job is not easy, but it's nice to have different outlets. Yeah.
So
Yeah, because
go ahead.
well, I know when I was growing up that, well, getting older anyway, I don't know about the growing up, but I do know that that especially kids would not talk to the adults. Like, I spent a lot of time talking to kids in school, trying to help them deal with a myriad of things. And the kids would open up to me where they wouldn't talk to the adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll find a lot more case details once she gets done talking to the children, as far as what they've seen, what they've experienced. That there might be other issues going on in the home. Another spirit that we just haven't missed, or that we haven't seen because of cloaking, or the spirits hiding.
Well, and it makes sense that they would only talk to somebody that's their age and their generation, and somebody that understands, somebody that's gone through it, that is that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can make all the difference in the world to your guys' work.
Oh, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Besides that, the one thing that has to be noted is that where you're dealing with the youngsters, a child or a young teenager will see the world differently than what an adult will. And that's where you end up with some of the disconnect from the kids trying to talk to adults, even if they're willing.
Right. And it seems like the younger the child, it may not be as scary. That might sound strange, but as an adult, you would find more fear than a child. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Right.
some of the kids think, "Oh, that's my friend. That's just my friend." And adults like, "No, that's not a friend." Yeah.
He's just my friend. I mean, I realize he's chewing on something that I'm not quite certain what it is, but he's not chewing on me, so he's good.
Yeah.
So,
well, I know that was what my father used to worry about was I don't fear the paranormal at all. And he said that made it real difficult for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to jump over to Michael real quick. And Michael, have you seen an influx in UFO sightings and abductions, things of that nature in November?
Actually, in November, it's been very busy as far as Peter Davenport and the National UFO Reporting Center is reporting, as far as sighting reports. In November, by the way, that's when the two different alien sightings were reported to Peter Davenport in Oregon. In Newberg, Oregon, and a place just west of Newberg, about 70 miles, there are actually alien entities being sighted on the ground, walking down a country highway on the side of the road by two different witnesses that had nothing to do with each other, and this was about 8 hours apart. So he does tell me that there's lots of activity. Maybe it's because people are having, more and more. Well, at least the weather has not been bad, so far as going outside and taking a smoke break or just being outside at night. But it is definitely picked up, he said, last month. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in December with the reminder that it's only been since December 16th of last year that the New York Times article came out. The government, through the Department of Defense and the Pentagon officials that were interviewed for that article, confirming the actual existence of UFOs. So I think that has a lot to do with it. People now are maybe less reluctant to report these things. I mean, if it's in the New York Times, they're feeling a little bit more at ease to be able to call people up, make the reports and I think that's making a difference.
Well, getting away from the New York Times article, because that was a year ago, but even recently when you had the Smithsonian scientists come out and talk about alien technology that came through our own galaxy with that cigar-shaped craft.
Yes.
We've got the media that's actually talking more and more about UFOs and kind of making it more accepting. What do you see, Keith? Do you see an escalation, or do you see, like Michael just said, more and more people are outside? Personally, I'm seeing more of an escalation with abductions just this month alone.
Oddly enough, it's not so much. There may well be a what I want to call a minor escalation of abductions, but where I have noticed the difference is there's a much wider feeling of acceptability to talk about the abductions or to report them, if you will. Okay, so what you're, in my opinion, essentially dealing with is a wider array of people that are coming out to say this is happening. It's not so much it happens more as people are just simply acknowledging it.
Okay. Do you think we're going to see a rise coming into 2019?
Oh, by the feel of it, yes. And that's socioeconomic array that's taking place. From the off-worlder standpoint, when you look at the tracking and when you look at the at the implants and what have you, they are very interested. This is an extremely interesting time when you're looking at it from a societal evolutionary standpoint. And because of the information they look for, yeah, they will absolutely be picking up more people. And do understand when we talk about picking them up, we are talking about returning them.
Yeah, you don't find too many cases where they don't come back. I think there's only one race that's actually involved in the not returning point, but they're very rare.
That's the fact. The thing you got to remember is if they're not coming back, there's nobody to report it.
They just come back in through NamUs, the missing persons sites.
Yeah.
But to keep the fear factor from coming in, yes, if you're not being abducted now, you're probably not going to be abducted, because I do see that side of things come in as far as, oh my God, am I going to be abducted? No, probably not. If you haven't been abducted, or your parents and grandparents haven't been abducted, then you probably don't have a whole lot to worry about.
Yeah, it's not like they go picking on everybody. Just the lucky few of us. And I'll use that term a little loosely.
Right.
Well, that's profiling. And that's not okay.
So,
well, get over it.
So, Cole, what have you seen in November?
Honestly, I've seen a lot more people coming out with how do I put that? Spiritual proof, I guess, is how I put that.
Right.
I'm seeing an influx on YouTube and on Facebook of more, and these aren't from the paranormal groups I'm part of. These are actually just on people's profiles. More people are coming out with different ideas that the spiritual world is out there. People that you wouldn't expect it from is what I'm saying. Okay.
And that makes sense. I think we're entering a time in society where it's a little more okay to come out and talk about your beliefs and some of the aspects that are paranormal that are affecting their beliefs, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, to me, it makes total sense. Don't know that. But...
Yeah. In the hardcore nuts and bolts area of ufology, people are now becoming more used to and hearing about and talking about the woo-woo factor. the spiritual end of the thing, the consciousness raising part of the idea, where a lot of people were just there for the nuts and bolts. They want to see, trace reports of landings. They want to get some scientific evidence. And, there's lots of us that are still, looking for that for sure. I'm an attorney. I want to see some proof that I can take to court. And that's what we look for. But also, people are realizing, I think, that this whole idea of consciousness being the key to everything, and everything is connected. I think that's becoming, as Cole was mentioning, I think it's becoming more and more of a realization, not just popular, but more of a realization with people.
And that I would absolutely agree with.
But I can honestly tell you as well, it's also, you can still see the fear factor there.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing with that too is you expect, with FMP, we don't see a rise or a fall, whether it's in October or not, because most paranormal groups out there expect a huge influx or a huge rise around Halloween. In October, you expect that. You expect to see a drop in November. We don't, just because we see the same caseload regardless of what season or what time of the year it is. But you're not seeing that drop. I mean, I think even other paranormal teams out there aren't seeing that drop, which is making them go, what's going on? Halloween didn't slow down.
I would honestly expect the rise to happen after Halloween. Thinking from a statistical point of view, everyone's doing the dumb stuff up to Halloween.
Right.
Like playing with Ouija boards, that kind of thing. So after Halloween, you'd expect to see that rise, I would think. Because that's when they actually have the issues, is after they've done that and they're opening doorways and doing things they shouldn't be.
Like leaving the doors open.
Yeah.
Right. And, let's discuss that for a second, because, that just came up in the group here, I think yesterday, about Ouija boards and how evil they are. Ouija boards themselves are simply a tool of communication. Now, with that, and with that being said, they're only good if you use them properly and if you actually use them safely and you know how to close them. And you also keep yourself shielded and keep yourself safe. Because they are a lower vibration, so they bring everything through. And like I said in my post, what you're talking to isn't Uncle Bob. It could be a malevolent entity, because they're very they're deceitful. So basically, you're opening that door to whatever is around that wants to come in. Unlike tarot cards, where tarot cards are being used on a higher vibration. So you've got spirit guides coming through, and messenger spirits coming through, not that lower level. That's the difference, because we get asked that all the time too. What's the difference between tarot cards and a Ouija board? Well, a Ouija board opens the bottom door. And again, it's merely a tool of communication. It doesn't bring the devil in. It doesn't bring, the demons in, because demons are rare. But it does open a lower door.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not quite frankly, it's a lot safer than some of the tools that I play with. But I've been doing it a long time. And the thing you got to remember, especially where it comes to the Ouija board itself, is it's not just a question of keeping yourself safe. It's a question of making certain you're protecting the people that are around you.
Exactly.
If you're playing in the basement, the person in the that's upstairs in your main house could have a problem if you're not careful.
Yeah, because there's exactly.
Protection or shielding is so important. That's even when we go into cases as the extended care, we are to shield before we can even go in and help somebody, just like the astral team does. So that makes so much sense, Keith. I mean, you have to be protected. Even when we go in as extended care after the astral has taken care of a problem, we still have to make sure that we have our protection also. Yeah.
Excellent point, because energy is energy. Once you make that connection with the client, your energy can be locked in, whether you're talking to them on the computer or you're talking to them on the phone. That entity or that spirit can latch onto you through your computer connection. It's been proven. We've actually had team members that were talking to the client that were actually attached to. So Matthew's got a question in the chat. If you have a nightmare and you wake up in fear, and the first thing that you do is shield yourself, then you're better. Is that normal? Yes, it is. Once you shield, your protection is up.
Yes, because you're raising your own energy, your own protection. Yes.
We have about 8 minutes before we have to go to break. So let's discuss this for a second too, because we had one client that was scared that she was going to shield, and she was going to shield the entity in her shields with her. Once you've grounded and you've pushed the negative energy out and pulled the positive energy in and put your shields up, you cannot be attached. There cannot be entities inside your shields. The shields push them out.
Correct. And this is why it's so important to easily and thoroughly explain, but you have to be kind of direct too, to get the client to do this properly. In the training class, we are all going to be on the same page. So there's not going to be any guessing, well, this representative teaches it this way, this teaches it that way. We are all going to come into these cases and do it the same exact way and make sure that the clients are completely understand what they are to do, to just guarantee that they're doing it correctly.
Exactly. So going into the second hour, we're actually going to go into how to clear your house, how to properly cleanse your house. We'll save that for the second hour.
Eric, can I ask the stupid question for the top of the hour?
There is no stupid question.
Don't trust me, yes there are.
Don't say that yet. So, when that post I put up on the group about the Ouija board and the Roomba. So an artificial intelligence is a type of energy. Would you not agree?
Okay, say that one more time.
An artificial intelligence is a type of energy.
Well,
yes and no.
So would it be possible for them to use a Ouija board?
Okay. Well, here's where you have to literally look at it from a literal standpoint. If it's artificial intelligence, the answer is no. Okay. A toaster can't operate a car, even if the toaster is very well advanced. However, if you're talking a mechanical intelligence, in other words, something that has not a program, but a definitive thinking process, the answer is yes, because you're still dealing with spirit to spirit.
So like Watson is what you're talking about.
Yeah, or any kind of AI at all.
Yeah, actually, now the reason I'm laughing is because I just saw on Facebook, actually, somebody had posted a video of, that little capture that says, "I'm not a robot"? And this person had a robot with a pencil that was pushing, "No, I'm not a robot." I was like, oh, that's funny. But Yeah, no, I agree, Keith. An AI is an energy of sorts, but not the kind of energy that could play with a Ouija board.
So it is safe to have a Ouija board and a Roomba in the same room.
Yeah, why not? Because, I mean...
It's safe to have a Ouija board where?
And a Roomba. The vacuum.
I gotta ask something. I gotta ask something a little bit strange here, because the only Roomba I know of is a dance.
I don't think, Cole. I mean, coming from my thought process on the extended care, I wouldn't think that the Roomba would have enough energy like a human body to even do any kind of summons on a Ouija board. That just doesn't go with me. It doesn't have the energy as a human body does. So I don't think there would be enough energy or enough intelligent energy to even do that.
Well,
does that make sense?
But what about Watson? I say himself because really he has become almost a person in the non-logical sense.
Somebody care to tell me who this Watson is that we're referring
to?
Is that your Roomba?
No, so Watson is Microsoft built an actual AI that is the most intelligent computer in the world. It
Jeopardy.
Yeah, it's won Jeopardy. It is the world chess champion. And they found it's not just like when it was playing chess, it wasn't just calculating the moves. It was actually anticipating their move, and it was anticipating the correct one. So
but isn't that more of a
form of an? Well, no, not.
Isn't that more of a strategic?
No, because the moves that the people were doing were to throw it off.
It's still
so they're doing things you shouldn't do in chess.
It'd still be AI strategy, though. I wouldn't see that as...
Yes, it would.
I wouldn't see it as human intelligence, per se.
But it's the closest we've gotten to AI, and it is damn close.
Now, taking that to another level, because spirits can attach to dolls, they can attach to inanimate objects. We've seen that in cases. I mean, look at Annabelle. So, with the attachment side of it, I could see it being able to attach to an AI. I just don't see the AI having the ability to, like Chris said, use something like a Ouija board.
That's an interesting thought, though.
Well, understand something about the Ouija board. It literally relies on a biomagnetic connection.
There goes Keith speaking that other language.
If it doesn't have a life force, it can be as smart an AI as it wants. If it does not have a life force, it won't be able to operate a Ouija board.
Right. Okay. With that, I agree.
Yeah.
And on that, it's time for our break. So when we come back, we'll continue with our monthly team show. So stay tuned for hour 2 of S4.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Times are changing. The circus of politics, healthcare's low standards and high prices, and let's not forget food quality. What to do? Arm yourself with Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. In a world of chemical imbalance and poor air and water quality, it's time you make a move. Log on to GetTheTea.com And stock up on organic, non-GMO supplements. Don't forget the tea. Cleansing your body never felt so good. And we have a brand new tea called Takedown Tea, which helps support healthy glucose. All natural body support so you can be at your best, naturally. All you have to do is log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. We're not a fad that comes and goes. We are the real deal. Join us and armor up. Getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Changing America's health one tea bag at a time.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. 123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find us on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code POWER to get $10 off your first box. As a special bonus, we will include our #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. Whatever your diet plans are, start with us at faststartdiet.com and use promo code POWER.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's a great product. And the one thing I liked about it the most is that when you open the bottles, you can smell like the scent of the fruits and veggies. It's no genius thing to it. It's really just fruits and veggies, which everyone needs. And you guys kind of put it in a way where you can take it easy and you can get it, and it's natural, and that's what I like about it. You know, I like the product, and I've taken it, and it's definitely made me feel a lot better. You know, I'm a healthy person to begin with, but it's definitely good prevention, and it's definitely gives me energy, and I feel like it's a natural thing. I like it. I really do.
For a limited time, use discount code TALK. to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Again, use discount code TALK.
All right, welcome back to S4. Tonight's our November team show. Hope you all enjoyed tonight's discussion. You can also find the archives at our Spreaker site and on the S4 YouTube channel for all the shows you missed in the last 2 years. Anyway, back to the show, and I do want to add, so when we do commercials at the top of the hour, that can be your business. So we are looking for sponsors. We are looking for people who want us to advertise your business, and you can get a hold of me anytime in the FMP group. So, all right, where were we, guys?
Well, I'm still sitting in the same place I was, but, you know, I'm a little...
Oh, I am too. I've just got coffee in front of me now.
We were talking about Roombas.
We were talking about Roombas and AIs, and so yes, they can get attachments to them, but they cannot. They don't have the bioelectric energy to actually manifest anything, and I would agree with that.
Which makes it quite safe to put a Ouija board next to your computer. Although, you know, in fairness, I wouldn't recommend putting quartz crystal next to your computer, especially not if you're active to start with yourself.
Well, it's a magnifier.
Yeah.
And you still have the human element of energy that comes through your computer indirectly.
Which always makes it really, really fun. You put you put a quartz crystal right next to your computer. You can blow the motherboard all over the floor.
And yeah, that makes sense.
We made that mistake.
So, you know, it always astounds me because I've heard on other radio shows, I've heard other teams, and, you know, they don't believe in protection, they don't use protection. And these aren't teams that just aren't educated. These are teams that honestly don't think anything can affect them. What's your guys' opinion of that?
Well, you said I wasn't allowed to swear on this show. So we'll settle for the old adage of "it'll never happen to me" is usually the last thing somebody thinks before they end up blindsided and potentially dead.
Or going home with an attachment at a minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to paranormal protection, what FMP uses physically is black tourmaline. And I was talking to Chris during the break, and we are going to go over some stones that we do use on a routine basis that are, if you put your intention into them, will protect you. But they do have to be cleansed. They do have to be charged. And what we do is charge them and cleanse them in between cases sometimes, depends on the intensity of the case, or at a minimum once a month during the full moon. So what I want to throw in real quick before Chris takes over is rose quartz is excellent for nightmares. And I bring that up because Matthew was talking about nightmares in the chat room earlier. Generally speaking, you charge your stone, you put the intention to your stone that you want it to catch the nightmares. And I use this oftentimes with clients with kids for boots on ground cases. Because, you know, we usually tell the client, go to your nearest shop, pick up this kind of stone, and take it home and use it. But if we're boots on ground, we have extra stones that we give our clients. Amethyst, another great stone. It's called the peace stone for a reason. It helps keep your vibrations high. And black tourmaline is basically the protection stone the team uses. It's our stone of choice. Dispels negativity and provides protection. So, what else you got for us, Chris?
Well, I had a case one time not too long ago, and I instructed the client to put amethyst with the rose quartz with crystal quartz, because that one enhances it enhances and amplifies the other stones. And had her put those 3 under her pillow at night, and that helped. That helped a lot. It calmed her. It actually stopped the nightmares, and so that worked. Fluorite's another good one. That actually is protection, and it's actually an aura cleansing. That one, some of our clients, I like the fluorite. Number one, it's really pretty, but the girl has to have bling. But that one, a lot of the clients will say that they have aches and pains. I mean, this one helps with arthritis, spinal injuries, and rheumatism. So that's another stone. I mean, these stones aren't just used for paranormal. And I get excited when I talk about them because you can use them for so many different things. But even if somebody had an attachment and the astral team removed the attachment, that fluorite would help that. Hematite, you mentioned, was good. Jade is really good. Now, jade helps with bringing insightful dreams, and it's also a protective stone, and it soothes the mind. And moonstone, I love moonstone. It does healing. It's reflective and calming, and there's a lot of the black stones. Even if they can't get the tourmaline, I tell them, any black stone that they can get their hands on would help right away for protection. Turquoise's healing properties, smoky rose or smoky quartz. Stones are just awesome, and they're so easy to find information on them. I mean, you just type it in and just read away, but they help so much. That's an extension of the extended care is going into the protective stones, also herbs, and also candles. Different colored candles in the home can also help with different things. I had a recent client that she's having issues with residual. The astral's been in there 2-3 times after the case and checked, and there's nothing there. But a lot of clients, if they've had the issue for such a long time, it's like I was talking to my husband about it, and I explained to him. I said, us as human beings, when we're young, we're taught to tie our shoe, and that is in our mind. Tie your shoes. You grab the laces first. You tie your shoe. And I kind of associate that with paranormal activity, meaning if you've had it for so long, it's going to be placed in your mind. And if it's removed by a team you cannot see, and you cannot visually see them remove it, you're just told that it's removed, your mind's going to continue to think that. Your mind is in a routine. So we implement stones and herbs and candles, and that actually helps the client with something they can visualize. They can hold the stones. They can smell the herbs. That actually helps them reverse and get their mind out of that previous routine, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to anybody?
Makes total sense to me. The one thing I would add, which is not with the stones but sometimes incorporates them, is the old American Indian method of dream catchers works like an absolute charm.
Okay, perfect. We'll put that in the training. Yeah. Awesome.
And this is where you got to add too. The mind can be the mind can work against you with that because like you said, the more programmed your mind is to accept that knocking on the wall or that the activity you're experiencing, that's where you take the fear and put it in a box, like Megan always says. You just take that fear and you put it away, and you keep your vibrations high, and eventually your mind's going to accept that it's gone, it's not here anymore.
That's why a lot of people need things like the stones, especially something they can feel to hang on to and say, okay, this is going to protect me. This isn't going to be there anymore. Because a lot of people, some people can change their mind thought without visual or without physical. But come on, Eric, you've got to admit, if there's a team comes in that you don't even see and says your problem's gone, sometimes that just doesn't work.
No,
yes,
it doesn't.
the team gets rid of it, but you've got to give them hardcore something solid to use to try to change their mind over.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
Now, Matthew's got another question in the chat. Is it easy to get possessed even if you have shielded right in with the stones? And I'm going to say possession is rare. So, can you get possessed? Yes, you can, if you allow yourself to get possessed. But possession itself, very rare. Need to know if something going on or why these questions are being asked.
I think that's a good question, but to answer him, I'm not watching the chat room right now, but to answer him, if you're grounding and shielding, that is keeping your energy level up, which is less likely to get affected. You would be less likely, I'm never going to say impossible,
right,
but you'd be less likely to be infected. That is the importance of shielding, is to keep your energy level high. People that go through depression have a low energy level, and that is why sometimes they're affected more by attachments and things. So if you're grounding and shielding, your energy level is up there. So you're a lot safer. We'll just put it that way.
Right, and the stones enhance it. And you bring up an excellent point with depression. December is known to be a high depression month. One, because of the holidays. People get depressed around the holidays. Two, because it's winter, it's dark, it's miserable, and it just brings about a depressing atmosphere. So what would you suggest for December?
Well, that's such a broad question. Okay, let me say this. I just had this case today, as a matter of fact, and I had a client that is just in this huge depression. And, I'm not a psychologist. I'm a help you ground and shield person. I'm help you protect yourself. So I heard something, and we go along and we'll pick up these information and pieces, and just like Keith said, use the dream catchers. Cool, I'm putting that in my book. But this client is in a huge depression, and I have to think, okay, how can I help her? Well, she's having some, let's just say, how do I put it? Hygiene. There we go. Hygiene issues. So I heard one time about you could also use showering water, because it's one of the 4 natural elements, right? You could use that as also a grounding technique. In the shower, you have your one element that chases the negativity away. So that's what I told her to do. And I won't know until tomorrow. It's, when she gets back to me. But you got to get kind of creative sometimes, and that's an easy thing to do when you're showering. Boost up get the negativity out. That's all I concentrate on. If they're in a depressive state, let's get you happy. There's stones that make you happy. Like I said, there's candles, different colors. There's herbs. I would just, from my job, my aspect, push the positivity. That's all I can do.
Well,
and train them.
Something I've found remarkably helpful for anybody suffering from depression is you literally, and I've tested this out with clients of mine for, over 40 years now, find the fastest dance music you can find, crank it as high as socially acceptable, and leave it run. No matter what your mood, that energy will bring it up.
That is so true.
Oh, yeah, music soothes the soul.
And oddly enough, it's cheap.
Yeah. And the faster the beat, the faster it gets you going. Yeah.
Yep.
It raises vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best example of that I ever saw was a old song from back in, must have been the late 60s. Don't know who the artist was. You guys can figure that one out. But the song was Wipeout.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was that was a drum instrumental. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I would think Kenny Loggins' Footloose would do it too.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I watched one person actually dance to Wipeout on every beat.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, that was enough to wear you out just watching it.
Yeah. Wow.
Mine is Wooly Bully.
Yeah.
I love that song.
And my guess is you like the Witch Doctor as well.
Oh yeah. But it's got to be the Scooby-Doo version. That's the best one.
Right.
I've got to say, I'm usually not one into holiday music, but we've been listening to Pandora, the Christmas channel, and I like the old classics, the old classic Christmas music. It's great.
Yeah.
Bing Crosby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
White Christmas. Definitely not high paced, but very enjoyable.
It is. Anything being Crosby.
Yeah.
And it makes you happy. It honestly does. I know a lot of people, even people who don't like Christmas or get stressed out during the holidays. When you hear those songs, it takes you back to a time when you were a kid and holidays weren't stressful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching the cartoon Frosty the Snowman always comes to mind too.
Yep.
There you go.
This is the thing. People say that Christmas doesn't have magic to it, but I tell you, it's the one time a year, regardless of what nationality, what your religious beliefs, or where you are in the world. Even I found in the spirit worlds and off-world, around that point in time, everybody seems to try to be a little nicer to each other.
Except for Black Friday.
That's what I was going to say.
You know what? I actually just saw something in the news. So in Regina, Saskatchewan, there is a Sikh church, or Sikh. I'm not sure how they pronounce it, and I apologize for anyone listening. They actually have a sign out front. They have it all year round, but at Christmas time, instead of Happy Holidays, instead of anything else, it does say Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
And the reason they do that, and they went on the news and told everyone, is in no way, shape, or form will they ever change what they call their holiday. Why should we have to change ours?
Bingo.
Yeah. Yep.
And that is a very good point, and hats off to them, quite frankly.
And that's the thing. This holiday, yes, it is it's a Christian holiday, it's a pagan holiday, but like the actual idea of Christmas is Christian. You're celebrating the birth of Christ. But Christmas can mean so many things now to so many people. To most people, it is friends, family, and togetherness. That's all it needs to be.
But my problem is...
that is a great thing.
My problem comes from the ones that get mad because you don't say Merry Christmas. And you see that all the time. It's the war on Christmas. Oh my God. They don't want us to say Merry Christmas. Well, actually, if you like Merry Christmas, great. But don't push it on everybody else.
Well, no.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you want to say Merry Christmas, knock yourself out. If you want to say Happy Holidays, knock yourself out. The thing is, be nice to each other.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I think that's the main point. When they get all offended because Starbucks doesn't do red and green, get over it.
There goes half our listening base right now. Don't shut off the radios.
I just, I think the most irritated I got was when I actually was sitting in Iraq and watching, sitting in the DFAC, the dining facility in Iraq, and they had the big screen TV on CNN, and they were talking about people fighting over Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays. I'm like, why, I'm sitting here in Iraq so that you can have your freedom to do whatever you want, but why are we fighting over words? Seriously.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you take a look at it realistically. And I mean, there's enough things out there to fight about. Do you have to fight about the way you say, have a nice day?
Exactly. I haven't seen it so much yet this year, which is actually refreshing. People, not yet. We're just entering the holiday season.
I was going to say, you just went through Black Friday. Give it a little bit of time to get into the Christmas thing.
Yeah, they're still mad at each other over the TVs. Calm down.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And the Mixmasters, they're just deadly.
Okay, so let's moving along. There's always the argument over how you properly cleanse your home. And honestly, sage is sage. So once the problem is removed and you go to cleanse the home, everyone's got their own method of doing it. Whether you're going to go counterclockwise with the sage or clockwise with the sage, it really doesn't matter. Sage is sage. So, Chris, what do you recommend for cleansing the home?
Whatever they use, sage or cedar or whatever I've said, and they have to have I ask them to either have a window open or a doorway open, and the idea is, as you're cleansing the home, you are chasing any negative energy, and it has to have an escape route to get out. So that's basically, as for saging, smudging. And then I also have them, once the house is clean, once that negative energy is out, I have them put some salt on their windowsills. And that is like a protection on the home. And also in their drains, and toilet and drain, because that is also an opening. So the client should have a negative-free environment with any openings, possible openings like windows and drains, also treated as a protection.
And it's funny because you see that in the movie. I mean, I think it was actually Ghostbusters. You actually saw the ectoplasm coming up the drain, because, again, people forget the drains all the time. You drop a pinch of salt. You drop a pinch of salt down the drains, you take care of the drains. But yes, that's what people always forget, is getting the drains in the mirrors, because mirrors can create doorways.
One thing.
Yeah.
With the sage, if you're renting, burning anything in your home, make sure it's okay with your landlord. You don't want to lose your damage deposit over doing something that you could perhaps do another way if it's not okay with them.
Yeah, and that I would agree with. You know, something else, by the way, is another one that I find very useful where it comes to using the herbs and what have you, is frankincense works very well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually the blend that we use if we have boots on ground. It's a mix with sage, frankincense, myrrh, rosemary, and a few other herbs, and we use a charcoal block. They're charcoal discs. You can get them for like $2.49 in any metaphysical shop. It comes in a roll, and they last forever. And you drop a pinch of the frankincense, the myrrh, the sage, the rosemary onto the disc while it's burning. It turns white, and it creates a great smoke. Smells great, and it cleanses the home. It raises vibrations, and smells good while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just one thing to clarify. You mentioned that it doesn't matter whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise. I won't argue with you, but I will tell you what I found is going counterclockwise brings the energy up faster than going counterclockwise.
Okay, and that makes sense. I just know there's always
Say
the
that
argument.
again?
I just know there's always the argument.
Going counterclockwise, Keith, or say that again?
You start, and you don't have to worry about the compass point, but for explanation purposes, start in the north, go to the west, then to the south, then to the east. But it doesn't matter which compass point you start at.
Right.
Just counterclockwise. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, and that causes fights. You got some to say, oh, you gotta go clockwise, and the other ones are, oh no, you gotta go counter. You know what? The sage is still hitting the room the same, regardless which direction you're starting.
Yeah, it's got nothing. In all fairness, the direction you go has nothing to do with the sage itself.
Right.
It has to do with the mobility.
Mm-hmm.
It's the energy flow that we're talking about. The sage itself, you're absolutely right. You could quite frankly grab a bundle of sage, throw it in the middle of a burner in the middle of your house, and leave it cook. And aside from it setting off fire alarms, or smoke alarms rather, then you're using too much.
And also depending on, it always depends on the case and the extremity of what had been going on. But some people I've also had to tell them as they're saging to say things like only positive energies allowed here and no negative energies allowed here and things like that, and it actually puts them in a little bit more control. I have different verses that I can use that I have written down that I will give to the clients, like I said, depending on what the situation is. But that also
depends on their religious belief as well.
Yes, and it also gives them more of a control of their own area. If they're actually feeling like they're in control and I'm chasing this out, then you get better progress, better outcome.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because their mind takes over, and their mind tells them that they have control.
Yep. And that's the goal. That is the goal of extended care, is to put them back in control. Paranormal things, issues, controlled them. Now we step in and we are putting them back in control. That's the main goal that we strive for.
Exactly. What about carpets? Carpets versus wood floor. Is there anything people
Are
need
you
to do?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just pass this on over to Keith because I haven't experienced that before. I don't know. I haven't dealt with that. I have not dealt with that.
Okay,
well,
so
fairness.
The recommendation for carpets versus wood floor, I always recommend a salt water mix and mopping your wood floors with a salt water mix. With carpets, again, you can sprinkle salt on the carpet and vacuum it up. It's the energy that's left over.
And ultimately, that pretty much is it. The fact of the matter is, whether it's the carpet or whether it's a wood floor, the energy will still grab onto it the same way because it grabs the molecules, not the material.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh. See, you learn something new every day.
I wasn't just going to leave you hanging. I had to answer for you.
You notice I'm like, Keith, help.
Well, the nice part with this crew is when you are at a loss, any one of us. I mean, there's a lot of times when people ask me something, I'll look at them and go, like, you asked me that, why? Find somebody that might know. But at least people here are willing to admit where they've got a shortfall. And there's a lot of groups that don't, and I'll tell you, that causes me more of a headache than the ones that legit that go, look, I don't know how to deal with it.
Well, and that you have to be, that's what I don't understand. In this extended care, you cannot guess. You can't guess because you're dealing with people's lives. So you have to ask.
Well, it wouldn't be advisable, although I have seen it often enough to know you can guess. It's just a really bad idea.
I just can't believe you guys didn't say send in the Roombas. Come on.
You're going to keep going back and forth on this Roombas, and I still have no idea what the thing is.
It's because I really want one. It's a vacuum cleaner that does it itself. It's this little disc that goes around your house.
Thingy.
Yeah.
Okay, all you need to do is you don't need a Roomba, you need a maid.
Oh, I have 4 kids, and none of them will do it right.
Okay, that's not called a maid. And if you take their play toys away from them, they'll do it right because they'll figure it out faster. But the trick when you're dealing with that, find the laziest one of your kids and tell them to do it. And until they get it done, none of the kids can have the toys.
Well, the thing with a maid, though, they can get attachments. The Roomba can't.
We had one of those Roomba things, and I got rid of that. It scared the heck out of me one day, and my dog was going nuts, and I heard this noise.
You know the noise it was making? That was the vacuum cleaner working.
The noise was going on. My dog was going nuts. My feet came up off the floor. I'm scared. I'm freaking out. I'm looking for Brent. He's not around. And then finally he comes back and he sees me still sitting in the chair with my feet off the floor because I don't know what's after me. And that darn Roomba came off of its charger and turned on by itself and got under the chair, and my dog was going nuts after it. I said, you get that thing out of my house. It's not living with me.
See, you had it trained right.
No. That was probably Brent. He probably sent a timer on it or something.
It's actually suggested that pet owners don't buy a Roomba.
Yeah.
If your pet has an accident, it will not identify that, and it just tends to spread it around.
Ew.
Are you speaking from experience, Cole?
No, I saw it on YouTube. The guy woke up, and his house, there was just lines of it everywhere.
Yeah. Well, that paints just a wrong picture for this day.
I want to. Can I bring up something that I will again admit that I do not have much information or experience on, but I've heard of people shielding their yards around the perimeter of their house.
Absolutely.
Protecting. Okay, I don't know much about that. So if I don't, maybe other people don't. So can we go over that? Different ideas.
So generally you're raising energy. And I've done this to clients' homes in the last 12 years. And generally I use a sword, because a sword is what I draw my energy with. And I walk the perimeter of the person's property. And oh my God, if they have 7 acres, it really sucks because it's a lot of property to shield.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm visualizing energy with my sword, and I'm physically drawing a line around the perimeter of the property. Now, if you want to take that a step further, you'll take power stones, which oftentimes I use tiger's eye, and you will bury that in the 4 corners of the property. After you visualized the energy drawn around the property. Now, and as you tell, I know you tell your clients all the time, you can never ground and shield enough. This isn't something you do one time and my shields are permanent. No, you have to keep working on your shields daily. Depending on how much activity and depending on how many problems you've got going on. But building your grounding and building your shields or working on your shields daily is ideal, because the more you work on your shields, the stronger they are. And same thing with the property. If you go around your property once a week, you should be fine. But that's how you shield property.
Okay, let's go a little farther. You said that you've used tiger eye. Are there other things that you can use?
Okay, looking at plants. Rosemary. Get a rosemary plant. Put it in front of your door. Plant it around your house. Ooh. Rosemary is a plant that dispels negativity. So I know that's one plant. Cedar trees are another one.
I have an experience with this, actually. Megan helped my wife. Kayla was having issues sleeping. She was having some dreams that were quite unfriendly. And I believe Megan called it an act of protection that she put on our house. But don't quote me on that. That might not be what she called it. But it not only helped my wife, but my mother-in-law was waking up at, honestly, the witching hour every night for almost a month. And she couldn't get back to sleep. The night that Megan did that, my mother-in-law slept peacefully, and she has for since then.
So
it has worked quite well.
So what the team can do, and what they do when it comes to, when they put shields up, they do it the same way but through astral. And they can actually do what I do physically with boots on ground, and they'll actually put up shields around the property in much the same way, visualizing a wall of energy around the property perimeter. And that's the same as doing a boots on ground physically. Basically creates a wall of energy that keeps things out. But again, that's not a permanent thing. That's something they do while they're doing the case. And then you teach the client how to do it physically on their property. So any other questions? Go ahead, Keith.
There are a couple of other ways that it can be done. Quite frankly, if you've got the strength to do it, and this may save you a whole lot of hassle. When you go to do a property, you were mentioning this 7-acre, it starts to get to be a pain in the neck. Or at least a pain in the feet. Did you by any chance realize that you can actually set off using an energy pad, using essentially an energy pocket, you can set a shockwave up that'll clear that entire acreage without walking it.
It's just more fun walking it.
Okay, you've got a sixth sense of enjoyment. Of course, I've got a bad leg, so that may explain that.
Well, coming from military, I'm used to hiking anyway. But no, I'm and what you're describing makes total sense. But when you're not versed with sending a shockwave, then I'll go the method I know works. So basically, you're and clarify this for me. You're visualizing a ball of energy thrust onto the ground that sends a shockwave out.
Essentially, yes. It, literally speaking, it's kind of like dropping a nuclear bomb in the middle of the yard and letting that, either a nuclear bomb or a volcanic, the pyroclastic blast, let it roll out over the energy from where, or over the property where you are.
And that makes sense. Everything we're describing that all sums up to energy. Energy is a shield. Energy keeps things out, keeps you protected. It's all about creative visualization is the key. Being able to visualize energy is what makes it work.
And this is why I've always held that the imagination is the key to the higher senses. That's the gateway.
The visualization can come in many forms. When you guys taught me how to ground and shield, you guys talked about a bubble, and I couldn't visualize that bubble. It kept coming out as tree roots for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like tree roots that envelope my body, and then they fall away as the negative energy, and then I pull up, and the tree that was there for the negative energy is withered and dead, and then the tree that comes up for the positive energy and the shield is like a very strong, very mighty tree.
Sometimes, Cole, that the reason I say the energy and the glow, and I want people to imagine the energy, is because there's been people that have chosen to use brick walls. Well, you can use a hammer and bust a brick. So that's the reason why I instruct the clients to use the energy and visualize the actual energy and build on that energy. And sometimes I say the white energy or the gold energy, just as long as they're visualizing that, because, it's the strongest. It's actually would be the strongest shield. Is that correct, Keith?
In all fairness, the golden energy is the strongest. And if you take the gold, if you mix the gold and silver, you've actually got something that's almost unstoppable.
Okay. But the energy, the glowing gold energy is stronger than like a brick wall or
yes.
Yeah.
Because
the only reason I think the tree root came to mind is honestly because of my native heritage.
Well, let's face it. The tree root puts you right directly in contact with Gaia, and that is the biggest energy source on this planet. Primarily because it is this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
See, when I teach people to do their own shielding, I use the white light mirrors facing away from you and the roots that you're referring to. All of which seems to work rather well for stopping a lot of things.
So, Michael, you got anything to add tonight?
Well, I was just kind of mulling over the whole idea of the wise men coming with gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and you guys are like, hitting hot buttons in my imagination here of obviously, if they were going to, if these, magi, wise men, and whatever are coming to baby Jesus's birth, and they are bringing such an important gift to supposedly the King of the Jews at that point. Wonder why gold, frankincense, and myrrh. That was just always something in the back of my mind I was wondering about.
Well, gold is one of the best energy conductors on the planet. We start there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Myrrh links between life and death. Net result, you're pulling from the spirit world and the physical one. And frankincense links between the so to speak, the wealthy and the poor. So you're pulling the energy from everywhere at the highest possible, with the widest base, if you will.
Isn't that fascinating? Yeah, you really explained that very well. I mean, the whole idea of myrrh being both a perfume and an embalming ingredient as well. That's fascinating.
It's also what they use in the Catholic religion at a funeral. We have the incense burner that the priest carries. That is what's in it half the time, especially at a funeral.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we're coming down to the last 8 minutes of the show. So, Keith, go ahead and talk about your books you got coming out.
Well, I've already got out Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams, and Believe in Your Business and Follow Your Dreams will be out within the next month. Both of which are the backbone for seminars that I'm starting to travel with. Our first one will be in February out in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first of the trilogy, Elderbach, The Latter Years, is coming out. We should have it ready for Christmas. It's a question of putting the money together. And all of those you can order directly from my email at innervoiceenterprises@yahoo.ca.
Excellent Christmas ideas, too. And Michael, tell us where we can find UFOI Team and where we can find your radio show as well.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Well, the UFOI Team, we live stream our weekly meetings on Monday nights. That's 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Facebook at UFOI Team. My radio show on nightdreamstalkradio.com is every Saturday night, 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we have all sorts of different, not just UFOs, but cryptids, Bigfoots, ghosts, and all sorts of paranormal activity there. So they can find us on ufoiteam.com on the internet as well.
Excellent. Oh, and since we got you here, so when is Blue Book being released?
Oh, yes.
Tell us about Blue Book real quick, because I know you were at the premiere. No one from FMP could make it. Upset me because that was going to be a great VIP. Did you go to the VIP party afterwards?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was at a rooftop cabana very close to the theater, right next to the Marriott Hotel. It was just a beautiful evening that night. All the stars were out, and of course all the the waterfront lights were on, the big Ferris wheel and everything. But the premiere itself was just amazing. This is the History Channel's brand new dramatic television series called Project Blue Book, based upon the U.S. Air Force's study of UFOs from 1952 to 1969, and it will air on History Channel January 8th. At 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Actually, it's 10 p.m. Eastern or Central or Pacific Standard Time on the History Channel. And it's very incredible quality. We saw the initial episode as a sneak preview. The UFO I-Team were invited. We had the red carpet out. We had lights and cameras and interviews, so they can check out that interview and premiere on UFO I-Team on Facebook as well if they'd like to see what it looked like. But January 8th, 10 p.m.
And you guys are actually getting together as a team and watching it, aren't you?
Yeah, we thought we would do that. We were also there, of course, for the premiere, but it would be kind of fun just to get together and be able to debrief right afterwards as a team about the show, because it is just very well done and a lot of detail that they must have had some quite amazing insider experts giving some information on how to deal with this stuff, because they're talking physiological effects on human beings by close proximity to UFOs. A lot of very interesting ideas in this program.
Was Peter Davenport at the premiere?
No, Peter was basically asked to be on the expert panel, after the screening, but it was difficult for him to get over the mountains that weekend to get there, so he wasn't there. But I was fortunate enough to be asked to be on the panel as well. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent. And I think what draws me the most about that show is the fact that they actually have J. Allen Hynek, obviously not the man himself, but they actually portrayed him, I think, quite accurately in that show. So it tells you right there they did a lot of their own homework and their own research on the valid side of that of Project Blue Book.
Yes, and I would imagine this is going to be the new X-Files for the next few years into the future here. They've got over 12,000 cases that the Air Force studied, so they got plenty of material.
Now, with Blue Book, do you think they actually closed it down, or do you think it's still going today?
Oh, no, it's, kidding. It's still going today. There's lots of different programs that are going today. Grant Cameron, the famous Canadian ufologist, says that one of the programs that they've got going is they're studying experiencers and abductees' brainwave patterns. They think there is a clue there of people that have been abducted and have experiences with UFOs that something unique is either happened to them or already in their brainwaves, and that's why they might be abducted. So I think they have programs going all over the place for this.
And that's a very good possibility. So, folks, time has flown as it always does. I want to thank our crew tonight, our Keith Andrews, our FMP alien race specialist. Make sure you check out his 2 new books he's written and watch his YouTube channel. Cole Wegleitner, FMP culture and lore research specialist and owner of Statement of Sound DJ Services. Michael Hall, a paranormal lawyer and founder of the UFO I-Team. And Chris Dodge, our FMP extended care team. Our music came from Cole. Look forward to more intros from him. He does awesome work. So if you have your own show, you want any kind of an intro, get with Cole. Our closing music comes from Stephen Gill of Twisted Images, Twisted Studios Department. And as always, you can catch S4 on the Fringe FM every Saturday night at midnight. And KSVU 90.1 FM Saturdays from 10 to 12. So next week, and actually every show that we do in December is going to be holiday related to the paranormal. So December 1st, can you believe it's December, next weekend already? So, December 1st, we're actually going to talk about what do we expect for December on the paranormal. It'll be for the first of our holiday specials. December 8th, we'll talk about, like we did last year, the creatures of the holidays, Krampus, some of the other ones. And it's going to be a very active month. So thank you again for listening to S4. Keep your eyes to the skies. Remember, it's you that give us a reason to produce S4. Yeah, what's up?
I think if you say Roomba 2 more times, we could get a sponsorship.
Roomba. And you know what, folks?
There we go.
we're actually looking for sponsors. So if you want to have your business on S4, give us a shout so we can get you on there. So have a great week, S4ians.